very good and relaxing Thanksgiving break. When Zeke and I ran as a ticket in March last year, we really had a vision for the organization, not just in terms of how we can better work together with the administration, but also how we can effectively collaborate and support each other. And one of the first things that I did on July 1st when Zeke and I just got into office is send an email to all of staff. And this is what it said. We want to acknowledge that while USG is a student government that often requires a high level of professionalism, our goal is to foster a community where we can all be there for each other, to be each other's support systems. And as members of USG, we have the opportunity to engage in really meaningful work that could potentially impact not just the 35,000 students who are currently on campus, but also the future ones. And so not everything is going to be easy, but you can count on us to do it together. And after the first semester, you have all exceeded my expectations, both in your determination and your resilience when advocating on behalf of students, and also your willingness to get to know each other. And since we'll be publishing the USG mid-year report in the next couple of weeks, shout out to Gloria, who's making that happen, I wanted to take time to summarize the major accomplishments and advocacy initiatives over the past 5 months since Zeke and I took office, as well as highlight some of the emerging initiatives that will define much of our work for the upcoming spring semester. So, right off the bat, at the start of the school year, the student minimum wage was raised from $10.33 to $15 an hour, and this has been one of USG's longest initiatives that has spanned multiple years with efforts from dozens upon dozens of student leaders throughout those years. But momentum really picked up during the spring semester of last school year following the creation of the Fight for 15 ad hoc committee, and that was chaired by none other than Cardios, who is in a class not here right now. But there was an overwhelming 95% of students who supported our all-campus referendum that really gave the administration the nudge they needed to increase student minimum wage and subsequently improve the quality of life for countless student workers. Now's the time to clap for that, by the way. Woo! Yeah. And soon after Fight for 15, the university started implementing the Universal Transit Pass, which is spearheaded by our infrastructure team last year, led by our very own Shashank. Stand up, wave. Obviously with the help of Daniel, who is just up here, who's our current infrastructure committee. And it allows students who pay the transportation and safety fee unlimited access to the regional transit system in the Twin Cities metro area. And so the pass itself improved equity by reducing costs up to 74%, reducing costs up to 74% in comparison to what was previously used, which is the U-Pass. It expanded access to healthy and affordable food options and reduced the emission of greenhouse gases by decreasing the need for single occupancy vehicles while simultaneously increasing safety, especially during poor weather conditions, which is a little bit ironic with Metro not being able to be here today, but that's okay. This Universal Transit Pass is arguably one of the most impactful initiatives that USG was able to collaborate with administration and external stakeholders on. So round of applause for everybody who was involved in that process. And honestly, victories like these are just reminders of what this organization can do, the kinds of positive influence we can have on student life and when we work hard and when we work together to achieve these things. Simultaneous to the implementation of the Universal Transit Pass, Zeke and I, along with the Morris Student Government, had been in communication with the governor's office to appoint Tad Johnson, who has deep ties to the Native American community, to the Board of Regents to replace now Duluth Interim Chancellor McMillan's regent seat. And a couple weeks later, the university's first Native American regent was appointed, which is a huge step in increasing Native American representation, especially as a land-grant institution, and increasing diversity among the Board of Regents themselves, especially in lieu of certain recent events. Shout out to ours, Nick, who I think is not here, but Sarah, who is over there, for navigating through the sometimes complicated dynamic that is the Board of Regents. Of course, like I alluded to just now, the Board of Regents has received significantly more attention this year, and most of it has been understandably critical, given Regent Swigham's comments this fall about the Morris student body being too diverse. But we want, and we should be clear about that. Diversity is one of our greatest strengths, and we should not only recognize that, but we should celebrate and we should uplift it. The real issue that Regent Swigham revealed is not the access of diversity, but rather a serious lack of representation of student voices and student interests on the Board of Regents. And that's why I'm proud to support the state policy initiatives proposed by our GLA team this year to reform the Regents selection process and bring student power to the board through state legislation. And I look forward to working with state legislators in the House and Senate to do that and so much more to support student needs in the upcoming legislative session, alongside our incredible state government coordinator, Sia, who I think also is not here right now, but still shout out to Sia, and also Carter. Now, speaking of the GLA team, any overview of the past semester's achievements would be sorely incomplete if I did not recognize the remarkable success that is the Row the Vote campaign that spanned the bulk of fall semester. We've had over 100 volunteers in over 600 classrooms. We've registered more than 3,000 students to vote with us, and close to 7,000 students who have pledged to vote. And we provided limousine and party bus transportation for hundreds of students to get to the early voting site. And all of these efforts put together made Row the Vote one of the most successful student-led voter turnout effort in university history. I cannot be more impressed by the amount of effort and the amount of work that was put in by our wonderful GLA team, Carter, Sia, Yusra, and also Sen Yusra. Come wave.
Yeah!
As well as our 15 campus voting captains, over 40 student group representatives, all of our staff members, and all of our interns who made this all possible. Okay, not only did we advocate, though, for more equitable student wages, many of us, including a large portion of exec, as well as multiple interns, SGRs, ALRs, spent hours of the weekend strategically crafting a statement and a resolution to call for a fair university contract with Teamsters, which contributed to the university and Teamsters eventually coming to a compromise later on. And while you might not see the efforts as easily here as what we did for Fight for 15, trust me, and I can assure you that we did make an impact. So, quick story, I work at the hospital, and one of the janitors whom I basically had no interactions with stopped me randomly in the hallway one day and said, quote, "Teamsters and others really pulled through for the rest of us. I'm 70-something and I'm planning to retire soon, but I'm glad the younger workers have this going for them." So your efforts are there. The work that you did is there, and the impact that you made on the lives of the workers is there, and as the forum body who passed the Teamsters resolution, all of you made an impact on those people's lives. With that said, though, there is still a tremendous amount of work to be done to ensure that students and full-time workers at our university receive the support and benefits that they deserve. As of today, the university still has not given final approval for the Teamsters contract agreement we announced last month. And as of today, there are still students who can't afford to pay their rent and groceries, and all the while, university departments are being told they have to enforce a maximum wage so students cannot receive higher pay for their work in research labs, libraries, dining halls, dorms, and it's unacceptable. We have so much more work to do, and much of it will be hard, but I say with total confidence that I know that this organization is up for that challenge. We can do really hard things, and we can do them all together. So now transitioning to talk about some future goals, and the ones that we have in progress. One of the many goals that Zeke and I set for the organization at the beginning is to think a little bit more about the longevity and sustainability of our advocacy, to brainstorm and identify what are some larger goals that might take multiple years to accomplish, such as Fight for 15. And the Basic Needs Master Plan is one of those things. Since more than 1 in 6 students on the Twin Cities campus alone worry about whether their food will run out before they have money to buy more, and also a couple hundred students on campus are experiencing homelessness, a couple hundred, 400 to 500 of them, there is and will most likely continue to be a need for improved student basic needs. And so the master plan will bring forth a multiple-year, university-wide strategic plan to address basic needs and insecurities among not just undergraduate students, but also graduate students and professional students at the Twin Cities campus, before it can be used as a model for the other campuses as well. The scope of the basic needs insecurities will primarily include attention to student, food, and housing insecurity, but it can also include a focus on access to transportation, to books and school supplies, computers, phones, internet access, clothing, personal care items, medical care, you name it. A committee has been put together with a shared goal of finalizing the master plan by the end of the spring semester, and huge thanks to Emily, who is sitting over there at the back. Stand up, Emily. You gotta stand up. Emily, don't be shy. Emily and the Basic Needs Master Plan for all their hard work throughout this process so far. Another thing that we're working on is the medication abortion, which will also require a lot of different admin approval. And in the aftermath of Roe, the need for locations that provide abortions have drastically increased nationally. And as one of the few states in the area where abortions are still allowed, the university is in a very unique position to provide students with the support they need. If successful, this initiative will decrease barriers to access abortion procedures and allow the university, and Boynton specifically, to provide mifepristone to students on campus who are in need of an abortion. The university should be creating a safe and supportive space for their own students to receive abortion care, regardless of access off campus. And so I'm cautiously optimistic about this initiative because the University of Michigan has already adopted medication abortion on campus without much advocacy work from their student government. And so I can't wait to actually include Samine, who I saw just now. Where is she? She's over there. Samine, stand up. Samine is our main camp chair, who will also be continuing this effort in the upcoming semester. And beyond these two major initiatives, the rest of our team, so all of you, have been working so hard in advocacy projects like Danielle and Infrastructure has been working to improve the signs within the East Bank tunnels, and Athara and the rest of DEI has been working diligently to expand the MLK program literally since last year. Erin and the rest of Campus Life, I literally cannot be more excited to get those goodie bags that y'all have been preparing for finals week, because I'll definitely need the boost in energy from those. And then y'all are in luck because Anders and Ava, who are leading the Environmental Accountability Committee and the Academic Affairs Committee, will literally be up here within the next couple minutes to talk about the initiatives that they have been working so hard on for the past semester. Also, I know this is a list, but y'all deserve so much shout-outs, so many shout-outs. The GLA team and our local coordinator, Yusra, yes, top team have been hard at work to finally secure the funding for additional street lighting in Dinkytown and Como neighborhoods, a project which has been a staple of USG advocacy and a hard-fought struggle for nearly a decade. And since we're doing kudos, we can't forget about Forum Board, who is sitting behind me. Forum Board has also been working so hard to increase collaboration between student boards and increase student group representation, fostering a sense of community and purpose within all of the senators, retaining ALRs, and doing so much more, yes, Madam Lookner. and bringing together staff, exec, forum, and interns. And so Alex, Emma, Rama, and Nico, cup wave. Everybody clap for them. Also, speaking of interns, Shashank and Maddie have done a phenomenal job reimagining the internship program. And so the interns have been so eager to learn about all the intricacies of the organization and also get involved too. And I'm pretty sure a good chunk of you are ALRs, and they've been doing this all while diligently taking minutes during forums and exec meetings, scheduling one-on-one meetings with staff members, and helping out with Grow the Road. Their enthusiasm consistently surprises me, and so interns, you all have so much potential within the organization, and I'm excited to see what teams you'll join next semester and where you'll end up in the organization in the future. And obviously it would be a Flora speech or for anything without more kudos, so here we go. Leah, who's also back there right next to Emily, has been doing a phenomenal job with the Campus Safety Task Force, especially since CSTF is actually a brand new addition to the organization this year. And she's been attending the Strategic Safety Advisory Council meetings, representing USG, so she's been doing an amazing job so far. Clap, everybody. And I am so glad that I make eye contact with Sanjana every other day, who's sitting right there. Sanjana is literally one of the, I cannot imagine anybody else being CFO right now. She's one of the most detail-oriented and most importantly financially responsible person that I've met. So we are super glad to have Sanjana on board with us. And I'm glad I can see a lot of comms people here because you're next. I want to give a huge shout out to the comms team. That's Ina, Annika, Gloria, Jason, and last but not least, sitting here taking videos of me is Justin. Yes, applause. They're arguably the team that has to handle the most moving parts within the organization, and they have done it nearly flawlessly so far into the semester, especially with Roll the Vote, staff introductions, the website, and so many others, and also TikTok, that will probably have more info coming soon. And so what I'm trying to say is that I honestly cannot be more proud of every single person who's sitting here today in this room, of all the staff who have so much passion for advocacy, of all the people who worked on the Teamsters resolution for 8 to 10 hours over the weekend to write it in time to be discussed and to be passed by a forum, of everyone who chooses to spend time with each other in the office, in this space, and of everyone who actively participates in the forum and committee, and that's all of you. You are all students at the university. You could be choosing to spend your time elsewhere, but instead you decide to come here and advocate for yourself and the people around you. And you are here to voice your concerns and take actions to achieve tangible goals and mitigate those concerns. And so everyone in this organization, everybody in the student body can have a role in advocacy. There is so much to do and so much to change, but I stand by what I said at the beginning and throughout the speech. And it's that not everything is going to be easy, but you can count on all of us to be able to do it together. So here's the hard things, here's the hard work, and today, standing before you as both your student body president and your partner in the fight for a better university, I could not be more proud or optimistic about the success and positive change that is yet to come next semester. So good luck on all of your upcoming finals, and we'll see everybody back here.